Welcome to another Quick Queries Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I'm your instructor, Richard Rost. Quick Queries videos where I answer your queries about Microsoft Access that maybe they don't need a whole video of themselves. I get a lot of, little questions, and that's what we do in the Quick Queries videos. So here we go. First, a correction in Quick Queries 22. I said that transparent images, like transparent GIFs, will be transparent in forums, but not in reports. And of course, Kevin comes to the rescue and says, all you have to do is change the back style property to transparent. Now you tell me. So yes, even I learned something. I love it when I learn something from you guys. I really do. When I, say something, because a lot of times you got to remember some of my knowledge of Access is decades old because, I might have learned it back in Access 97 or, 2003. And that's just the way it was then. And I didn't know they changed it or fixed it. So I love learning things from you guys. So yeah, there you go. Once again, thanks, Kevin. This question came up in a Microsoft Access group that I belong to on Facebook. Remco Peters says, a question for all of you who sell build Access programs. Why would a company use a program made in Access instead of a ready-to-use solution from one of the big brands? Well, for me, the biggest benefit of Access versus packaged software is control. You can tailor the database to meet the business's needs, not change the business processes to meet the software's requirements. So you can custom build a database to store exactly the information you need, and with a little automation, you can make it do exactly what your business does instead of changing the way you do things to fit the software. Back when I was a consultant, I spent a lot of time building databases for mostly small to mid-sized companies, but their accounting or their procedural, their software needs were more than you could do with an off-the-shelf product like QuickBooks. And there might be some vertical software for their market, but it might cost $40,000 or whatever. So in that case, an Access solution is perfect for them. And there are still lots of businesses looking for these kinds of solutions. But the problem is that a lot of people, business owners and stuff, a lot of people don't know that Access exists. They don't know what Access is. So they're not necessarily looking for an Access solution. They're looking for a solution, right? They know they need custom software. So that's where it's the consultant's job to put them in a product like Access if it meets their needs, right? If they want something that's all web-based and stuff, then maybe Access isn't the best solution for their website. But if they need an in-house database to do this and this, customers, orders, inventory, whatever, then you can build them an Access solution. So that's my 2 cents. As far as, is there a market for it? Yeah, there's a market. But like I said, a lot of companies don't know that it's a good available solution for what they need. I spent probably 20 years of my consulting career building Access database solutions for different companies. So yeah, there's still a market for it. I get tons of people on my website still looking for consultants. So I send them over to my developer network. I don't do consulting anymore, but there's plenty of work to go around. So, here's my sponsors and my Access veterans, and all these guys are available to do consulting. So check it out. This next tip comes from Michael, one of my YouTube members. I tried to figure out which Michael you are, Michael, but I've got like 30 Michaels that are members, so I couldn't tell. And I couldn't tell from your email address because you're not signed up on my website. So sign up on my website. Anyways, he says, if you map a shared drive, like a drive letter like T or Z or whatever, with an IP address like that, right, then it cannot be used as a trusted location in Microsoft Access. But it works if you use the domain name. That is true. I've never tried doing this to an internet domain name. I mean, I've done it in-house using domain names, but I'd be very careful with running a database over the internet like that. Access tends not to like it, and it might corrupt your database. Definitely don't run a shared split database that way. Maybe a small one where you're the only user, but if you're running this over the internet and there's any kind of latency whatsoever, Access is going to have a fit. This is where you want to use something like SQL Server. So just be careful. This is a funny one, and this is one that user NRJins, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, posted on Reddit. Here's the question. He said, ever wonder why report header, footer, and detail sections in a report have both an AutoHeight property as well as CanGrow and CanShrink properties? No one seems to know why these sections have an AutoHeight property when they already have CanGrow, can't shrink. So I wondered this too. I remember using AutoHeight years ago, but I almost 99% of the time use CanGrow, can't shrink. And in fact, I sat down for a bit and I tried to figure out one thing that AutoHeight could do that you couldn't accomplish with CanGrow, can shrink. And I believe it's a throwback to older versions of Access before they had CanGrow, can shrink, and they just left it in there for compatibility. I tried resizing text boxes, objects with code like boxes and lines. I just couldn't do it. So I sat down with ChatGPT and I tried to get it to tell me. And the reason why I'm putting this in this video is because this is the perfect example of why you want to make sure that you verify everything ChatGPT tells you. And if it writes you code, test the code thoroughly. Because I got ChatGPT to admit it was wrong by the end. So here's the whole conversation. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it's on my website if you want to read it all. What is the purpose of the auto size property? And here's its reply. All right. And I went through and I said, no, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. And finally, by the end, it said, you're absolutely right. Your test proves that the AutoHeight property does not affect the dynamic resizing of sections or controls during report runtime. Whether it's set to yes or no, the section adjusts based only on the growth or shrinking of the individual controls due to the CanGrow, can shrink properties. And this is after it was basically arguing with me up here, saying that, well, no, they're different. They're different. They're different. So I'll put a link to this down below in the link section. If anyone else has any other ideas, I'm all ears. I Googled this too. I sat down for a good hour or so and tried to find something online. I don't just go to ChatGPT, but I couldn't find anything. So I know a lot of documentation from older versions of Access isn't online. And I've got some old books on my shelves, like some Access 2000. I think you even have an Access 97 book floating around here somewhere. I looked in there too, couldn't find anything. So no idea. And this is all that Microsoft's website says. And as far as I can tell, this is not true. Because you could set it to false and it still grows. So, I don't know. Next up, we got a question from Eva. I hope I pronounced that correctly. She wants to know if it's possible to overlap a text box over a list box. No, unfortunately, one of the properties of a list box is that it's always on top of other controls. This goes back several generations in Access. I don't like it. Even if you do ascend to back, you can't. It'll always stay on top. That's just one thing. You could take the list box and put the list box in a subform and put the subform control under other stuff, which then you could overlay text boxes on top of that. But then you got to ask yourself, why? Why do you want to do that? Is it possible? Yeah, but no. I mean, I wouldn't. But, I mean, if you can give me some examples of why you'd want to do this, then maybe we could figure it out. But I don't know. This next question comes from Willem in my forums on my website. He's a gold member. And basically, he's learning a second language. He's learning Polish. Good for you. And he's got English and Polish together on the same form. And every time he switches between fields, he needs to manually change the keyboard settings to match the language of the field, US English or Polish. And he wants to know if there is a VBA solution for it. And the solution is thanks to Alex, my number one. And here's the code that he found to be able to switch the active language based on whatever field you're on. This here is a Windows function, right? You got to declare it in your VBA code. And then you can use this function called Activate Keyboard Layout. Very cool solution. That's one of the things that I have very little experience, or almost no experience with, is other languages. So when people ask me questions about, regional settings and languages and other versions, sorry, I'm English only. I know lots of languages, but they're all programming languages. And I know a little bit of Klingon, so kapla. Next question, let's head over to YouTube. Dean Brody says he's a silver member and he'd like to view the extended cut for the dynamic default value. But I don't know how to get to it. Please help. And I replied, look for the link to the extended cut in the description below the video, or you can find it on my website. And this is a comment on that video, by the way. And he says, I'm sorry, but the only link I see is to your mug. And at first I thought he meant my head, my face, but you'll see in just a second. I've tried looking it up on your website, but haven't figured out how to do it. All right, I get this question a lot. Let me show you something. All right, here we are on YouTube, and if you scroll down, that's the mug he was talking about. That's my mug. They said you could put merchandise in here, so I just made a mug. Anybody wants a mug? There's a mug there for you. And here's the comment. Okay, so you know how to add a comment. That's fine. Now, this is not your fault. YouTube does a really good job of hiding the description. Okay, it's this block of text right here is the description below the video. And I really wish YouTube would do something to make this stand out more. I'm in dark mode, by the way. If you're in light mode, it's still hard to find. There's a little more over here, or you can just click on this field. And when it opens up, there's lots of additional text in here. There's the extended cut right there. You click on that, it takes you right to it. That's a YouTube link. Okay? And yeah, I even say in the outro in all my videos, YouTube does a really good job of hiding it. See? I even mention it at the end of the videos. I know, no one ever watches that stuff at the end of the videos. I get it. But that's where it is. And if you know the name of the video and you go to my website, just use the search box over here. Paste it in there. And that'll take you to the video. Or it is right here. Tech Help Dynamic Default. Okay. Scroll down. And there's the extended cut right there under the members section. See? I try to make stuff as easy to find as possible. So, yeah. I don't know. Steve is asking about Access Database Cloud and whether or not you can have remote users and local users, or if all the users must run on the backend data. I believe that all of the users have to be on the Access Database Cloud because the database is running on their server. But this would be a question for them. I would contact their support and ask them. Maybe there's a way you can connect to it. I don't know. Yes, Roger. Kevin is awesome. He's fantastic. He answers tons of questions in the forums. He's definitely an amazing resource. My guys are the best when it comes to answering questions. I can't answer all the questions myself. I just take the best ones sometimes and put them in a video. But my moderators are fantastic. So if you got questions, post them here. But I'll try to answer them if I can. Best place to post them on my website in the forums. This next one comes from Giovanni. He says, I'm writing to you from Italy. I would love to go to Italy. It's definitely on my bucket list. My mom's family is all from Italy. I usually listen to all your videos in English, but the last couple of weeks, the video started with an AI-generated voice that's very annoying. Could you please post your video avoiding this behavior? Apparently, there's no way to prevent this for our side of the tube. Yeah, this is a new feature that they just started doing. I actually think it's kind of cool, but I have gotten some emails from some people that say that they find it annoying. They prefer to listen to the original English, because the computer-generated voice in different languages it just doesn't sound like me. It's going to be cool when they actually can like get my inflections on my sound on my voice. But let me show you how to turn it off. So this will only be in my newer videos. All the older ones, they're not going back and adding this to older videos. All right, but this is one of my newer ones. This is yesterday's video, I think. And if you come down here and click on the gear, you'll see right here it says audio track. And this is where you can change it. You can have it in the original English, or you can change it to Italian. And this is probably what you're hearing.
Benvenuti a un altro video di assistenza tecnica offerto da accessarningzone.com. Sono il vostro istruttore, Richard Rost.
Richard Rost.
Oggi impareremo le proprietà.
I mean, if you don't speak English, it's better than nothing, I guess, right? But yeah, just come over here, go to audio track, and pick whatever language you'd like to listen to me in, or just pick the original, and right there. And then it should go back. Cell length properties to me. So that's how you do it. I think it's neat, but I get it why you want to hear me, right? Next up, John asks, he'd like to know how to freeze an Access form header, text boxes, and buttons when moving right in an Access form. If by freeze the header, do you mean like in Excel where you can freeze columns? Like in Excel, you can highlight a column, go to view, and then freeze panes, right? Freeze the first column or whatever. And now if you scroll to the right, that column is stuck there. Okay, that's what freezing something means. Like freezing a column, freezing the row headers, that kind of stuff. In Access, you really can't do that with a form if you scroll to the right. There's no way to freeze the stuff in here. Now, if you want to go into a table, you can freeze a column in your table. Okay, the same way that you can in Excel. But I try not to let my end users work directly in tables. Okay? I like to keep everybody in forms. I mean, you could use a data sheet view form, which looks like a table, right? You could free stuff in here too. This gives you the benefit of still being able to use like the events for the different fields in here. I almost never use these on myself. I pretty much always stick with regular form view. I guess if you wanted to get fancy, you could do like 2 subforms next to each other and always have the ID here, but then you'd have to match it when you scroll up and down. I got separate videos on how to do that, how to synchronize subforms. Next up, we got a couple questions here on the option compare video, and I'm going to try to get them in the right order here. This person says, thanks for the explanation. I'm wondering if it's possible to set option compare binary for just one sub in a module. Yes, I do this all the time. All right, if you have multiple modules, you can have several modules down here. And it also applies to form and report modules as well. But if you open this up, you can change this one to have option compare database. You could have another one that's got option compare binary. And you could put all the stuff that's case sensitive in the binary module. Okay? And like JC Win says here, the in-string function itself does have a third argument that allows you to specify the type of comparison. Right? This video talks about the in-string function is to find the location of a string inside of a bigger string, like finding a person's name inside of a long text field, for example. I also talk about something similar in my change case video. And so yes, Jeffrey, that answers your question. And N269 asks the same thing too. And then I love it when we get just random questions on videos that have nothing to do with the video, but that's okay. That's fine. I do that myself sometimes. And this is a whole separate ball of yarn here. Do people still use Microsoft Access? Yes. Yes, people still use Microsoft Access. I get tons of views every day from people who want to learn more about Access. Why not just use SQL? I mean, SQL Server, that's apples and oranges. Access is a desktop database. It's designed for building forms and reports and stuff like that. SQL Server is just a server. Okay, it doesn't allow you to build an interface. Isn't VBA old? Yeah, it's old. So is C, C++, all those languages. Those are old too. The IDE is terrible. Well, that's just, that's your opinion. And you know what they say about opinions, right? Everyone's got one and they all stink. They're just like some piece of anatomy that I could mention. Just learn Python and SQL? Well, I disagree. I love Python, don't get me wrong. I do love Python, but it's not a replacement for Access. Sorry, bye. My question is though, is if you think that the IDE is terrible, why are you watching my videos? What are you doing here? Go home. This person says, I'm unable to understand your accent. I beg to differ. I do not have an accent. Right? I sound like the people on TV sound. I don't have an accent. Now, my fiance had an accent. She's from the Philadelphia area, and I just got her to stop saying wooder. So that's a plus. But hey, sorry, I can't change my voice. Maybe try one of those AI language options that's there. Maybe that'll sound better for you. I get people all the time saying, slow down, I can't understand your... I don't have an accent. This is just how I talk. Sorry. I can't slow down. I record video in the morning, usually after a couple cups of coffee, and there's no slowing this down. Sorry. If I did, I would talk like Ben Stein. Bueller. I can't do that either. I'm just me, sorry. Shadow Dragon, always looking forward to my quick queries. Good, because I like doing them. These are fun. I'm going to try and do more of them moving forward. And I get so many comments and emails and stuff that I don't have time to make full videos out of, so this is my chance to try to address some of them. I see variations of this question once in a while. How can I copy a field from my query into a table? I don't understand exactly what you're trying to do, but keep in mind that a query is just another way of viewing data that's in a table. So that data doesn't exist in the query. There's nothing in a query, right? A query is just saying, hey, you got this table over here or these multiple tables. I want to see the data in that table in a specific way. You can filter it, right? Show me just the customers from New York. You can sort it different ways. And then there's action queries, right? You can add records, delete records, but you don't take a field from a query and put it into a table unless you're talking about an append query. That's where you can take data from one table and then use a query and put it into another table. That's an append query. And you can learn more about that right here. Giorgio asks, what's the status command that you're using in the demonstration? I use the status command to display information in a text box on a form instead of message box, which stops execution, right? Shadow Dragon correctly answered the question for you there. I have a whole separate video on it. You can find out more about it here. Sometimes I apologize. Sometimes I forget that you guys haven't watched all of my previous videos, so I probably should be a little more upfront about that when I use the status box. But that's what it is. And I think I cover it in my blank template video too. It's really very simple if you know VBA, right? This is a box here called status box. And in this button, if you look at the code, let me bring it up so you can see it here, right? It says status, hello world. What's status? Well, let's right click on it. I'm gonna go to definition. And it's right up here. It's a private substatus. It takes in S as a string, and it just adds that to the status box plus whatever was in it previously. So it has the effect of just adding stuff to the status box, right? Click, 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 click. It just adds stuff. And I use this for you know, if you're doing a loop or you're going through record sets or whatever, and you can display information for the user so they know something's going on. Because if you pop up a message box, well, it stops execution right there. So this is one easy way to display information on an ongoing basis to your users. And finally tonight, Bernard says he does whatever he's doing and he presses a button and he gets an enter parameter value box. Why is that? 99% of the time it's because you spelled something wrong, or you got a field in there that's not in the underlying query, let's say, and Access has no idea what you're looking for. It's quite common. I get asked this all the time, and I got a whole video on it, so go watch this. And that's going to do it for Quick Queries number 23, folks. Hope you learned something. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time. A special thank you and shout out to our diamond sponsors. Juan Soto with Access Experts Software Solutions, manufacturing experts specializing in Access and SQL Server. Sammy Shama with Shama Consultancy, a certified Microsoft Access expert who offers personalized one-on-one tutoring. And Amanda Nicole Consulting, specializing in helping businesses move from complex Excel sheets to an Access database. You'll find links to the Diamond sponsors in the description down below the video. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have below. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free. Click the bell icon and select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Want to learn more? Click the Show More link below the video to find additional resources and links. YouTube does a pretty good job of hiding it. It's right down there. See this part of the description here, right? The name, the video's up here. There's a little Show More down there, right down the bottom. It's kind of hard to find. But once you click on that, you'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. And YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted like they used to do. But if you'd like to get an email every time I post a new video, click on the link to join my mailing list. And you can pick how frequently to get emails from me, either as they happen, daily, weekly, or monthly. Now, if you'd like to become a paid member of my channel and receive all kinds of awesome perks, click on the Join button. You'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks, including my extended cut videos, access to my code vault, lots of VBA source code in there, template downloads, and lots more. I'll talk more about these perks at the end of the video. Even if you don't want to commit to becoming a paid member and you'd like to help support my work, please feel free to click on the tip jar link. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got some puppies to feed. But don't worry, no matter what, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you really want to learn Access and you haven't tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, and more. It's over 4 hours long. You could find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link down below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? The whole thing, free, 4 hours. Go watch it. And okay, a lot of you have told me that you don't have time to sit through a 4-hour course. So I do now have a quicker Microsoft Access for Beginners video that covers all the basics faster in about 30 minutes. And no, I didn't just put the video on fast forward. But I'll put a link to this down below as well. Now, if you like level 1, level 2 is just $1. That's it, $1. And that's another whole 90-minute course. Level 2 is also free for paid members of any level, including supporters. So if you're a member, go watch level 2. It's free. Okay, want to get your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my tech help page and send me your question there. Members get priority, of course. While I do try to read and respond to all of the comments posted below in the comments section, I only have time to go through them briefly a couple of times a month, and sometimes I get thousands of them. So send me your question here on the tech help page, and you'll have a better chance of getting it answered. And while you're on my website, be sure to stop by my Access forum. We've got lots of lively conversations about Microsoft Access and other topics. I have a fantastic group of moderators who help me answer questions. Shout out to Alex, Kevin, Scott, Adam, John, Dan, Juan, and everybody else who helps out on the site. I appreciate everything you do. I couldn't do it without you. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on Facebook too, but I don't like Facebook. Don't get me started. Now, let's talk more about those member perks if you do decide to join as a paid member. There are different levels: silver, gold, platinum, and diamond. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, one free beginner class every month, and some other perks. Gold members get all the previous perks, plus access to download the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos, plus access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions that I use, the code that I build in most of the videos. You'll also get higher priority if you do submit any tech help questions. Now, answers are never guaranteed, but you do go higher in the list for me to read them. And if I like your question, you got a good chance of it being answered. You'll also get one free expert level class each month after you've finished the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks plus even higher priority for tech help questions. You get access to all of my full beginner level courses for every subject. And I cover lots of different subjects like Word, Excel, VBA, ASP, lots of different stuff, not just Access. These are the full-length courses found on my website. You get all the beginner ones. In addition, once you finish the expert classes, you get one free developer class per month. So lots of training. And finally, you can also become a Diamond sponsor. You'll have your name or your company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown on each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by accesslearningzone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you again soon.